Sorry about that. Not me muted. But what's good, everybody? Thank you for tuning in with another broadcast here on Live for Fast Break here, live for iSports Radio. You already follow sports. D-Locke, the playoffs have begun. Our team's lost over the weekend. What you think of the playoffs so far?
It's already getting kind of crazy, man. Some few expectations. I think game one has shown us a lot already. We've seen a few blowouts already. We've seen some upsets. So that's going to tell us how up and down these playoffs are going to be. So the Lakers in 5, these other Boston in 4, these different things that we've been saying. Actually, we got to see what happens now. So now it's time to put pen to paper and see actually what goes down in these playoffs.
Yeah, the playoffs are blowouts so far. The Grizzlies got blown out today. We'll discuss that. And then also tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we'll give you our disappointments. I know D-Locke wasn't here last week, but I ain't going to want to wait on this. So we're going to do our disappointments of the NBA season here tonight on this lovely Easter Sunday. So after these few short messages, we're going to get rocked and rolling. But this is Fast Break here, live at Friday Sports Radio. You'll be following sports, and we'll catch you on the other side.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. iSports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And we're back here for a fast break here live for IE Sports Radio, your week for all sports. Happy Easter to everyone. Hope y'all enjoy the holiday and whatnot. I had to work today. So all you people come up and tell me, so saying you have to work. Well, you up here, I'm looking at you. So that makes two of us. But anyways, we're going to load the show tonight. NBA playoffs have begun. D-Locke, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty decent, man. Just been checking out a couple of these games. The Magic did take a tough loss tonight.
Yeah, your Magic took a tough loss. My Lakers took a tough loss last night on national broadcast on ABC. A lot of tough losses in the playoffs here so far. You know, a lot of tough losses right now. But if you see on the scroll right here in the bottom, you can follow us on IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I know TikTok got another extension from the government to sell. We'll see how long that lasts. YouTube, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We're trying to build that number up. Also, we're on Twitch as well. Subscribe there as well. Check out iSportsRadio.com for all your latest shows, news, and feeds as well. The NFL draft is this week. So a lot of the shows on the network giving last-minute NFL draft predictions, all that good stuff. So a lot of content coming heavy next week for this draft.
Mm-hmm.
My Titans, I'm just going to get out of the way now. We're going Cam Ward.
Yeah.
I think it's been like this for the past month. I think we're going Cam Ward. This is my prediction. I'm going to say it right now. So Cam Ward will be a Tennessee Titan next time we're up here in the broadcast. Also, our latest sponsor, Raw Nutrition Supplements. Go to getrawnutrition.com. Use that promo code IESR for 10% off. Everybody wants a little discount for everything. hey, Get Raw Nutrition trying to hook y'all up. So go to getrawnutrition.com. Use that promo code IESR for 10% off. So got all the way, D-Locke. The playoffs are here. Your first thoughts of the playoffs have as things turn about so far in your eyes. What are you thinking? Is it like a filling out process after game one in some of these games, or what are you thinking about the vibe of the playoffs so far?
Well, I first think that my biggest thing is, now I do want to talk about the game one, but I think the play-ins have been extremely interesting.
Yeah.
I think, as much as I've heard a lot of NBA fans say, well, hell, there shouldn't be a play-in, just have the top 8 teams go. But I think, 9 and 10 getting a chance, especially on the West, is pretty huge. I mean, we've seen some good battles, and then we see these matchups. But for me, I think these game ones are very interesting. I mean, obviously you have the big fans, the Laker fans, Magic Celtic fans, Cavs fans, having these high expectations, Nuggets fans, and they're seeing that, they're getting good battles. At first, like I said, we can talk about the Nuggets and the Clippers. That is that's going to be a hell of a series. You know what I mean? For that game to go to overtime, that's going to tell us that obviously we've seen at one point NBA champ Denver Nuggets playing against the Clippers. I think Kawhi was quoted saying that he's healthy right now. So if you get a healthy Kawhi Leonard with the group that they have, any team that Kawhi is on healthy could be a dangerous team. So I think that series is going to be pretty good. Cavs and I think the Knicks and the Pistons. That game was pretty interesting as well. I think Malik Beasley probably pissed off Jalen Brunson a little bit at the end. And yeah, that team kind of went on an insane run at the end. So these matches are good. Now, the biggest thing is to see Detroit Pistons back in the playoffs is a great thing for the NBA. I remember when they played the Lakers in the NBA Finals, you know what I mean? And obviously hearing about the Bulls and the Pistons in the past. So to see Detroit basketball be back in the playoffs is great. That's a big thing. So for me, I'm liking the game ones. I mean, they were extremely good. Obviously not for my Magic the first game. We had to get that play-in game to get into this opportunity. So just to see that, obviously I think Franz Wagner, that bench has to play a hell of a lot better. And also, I ended on talking about the Lakers and the Timberwolves. So much expectation with LeBron and Luka, making that run that they did to get that, I believe, what, number 3 seed?
Yeah.
They
3 seed.
Yeah,
last minute.
Yeah, so they made the big run to get that 3 seed, and high expectations there. But the Timberwolves are not no joke. You know what I mean? Like, I think the team that they got is pretty talented with Julius Randle, Gobert, obviously Ant-Man, a few others. This team is probably going to be most interesting series because the thing about the Timberwolves that a lot of teams don't have is they have depth, right? Mm-hmm. They got a lot of guys that they can put in rotation. I mean, we talk so much about Anthony Edwards and what he has done for the Timberwolves, but they got a lot of people on this team, man. I know I got to go through a couple of people that they have. Obviously, we know Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, Julius Randle. Naj Reid had a hell of a game. He was out there looking like Hakeem Olajuwon throwing some. So it's just, and even with that, I mean, you got Alexander Walker coming off the bench, Dante DiVincenzo, Jalen Clark, who can come in and throw some points up. And I'm pretty sure those college basketball fans remember Terrence Shannon. You know what I mean? So they got some guys, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, Jaden McDaniel as well. So they got some guys that the pressure is not on Ant-Man to have 25 plus per game. He doesn't need that. Now he can get it when he needs to, but the thing is they have the depth to put in rotation where if he's having an off game, these other players can come in and do what they need to. So this series is going to be one to watch. Getting that first game, I think if I remember in 2020 when the Lakers lost, when the Lakers won the NBA championship, they lost game 1 in multiples in a few series. So this is nothing to be too scared of. But again, the Timberwolves is a team I think that's gonna bring a lot of attention. So again, the NBA. I would say this is outside of the beginning of the season. This is one of the favorite times of the NBA season that we all love because we get to see these matchups that we're like, well, damn, somebody got to go home. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody's going to make it. And then we got obviously Cavs and Heat playing right now. I think the Cavs are up by 8. Then you got a big matchup between the Rockets and the Warriors later on, which I think Steph has had a hell of a time against the Rockets in the past. But, with somebody who can possibly win Coach of the Year into it with Udoka in there, I think this is going to be a good series too. So again, just saying that this is going to be, now that we have the NBA playoffs, this is what I really love about the NBA compared to the NFL is more than one game, right? Love the NFL. Love the how they set it up where you do have one game, obviously with so much contact, it can only be one game. But I do love the fact that the NBA gives you, hey, listen, you got to get to 4 before the next team. And what that does is obviously we'll see the Lakers make some adjustments. Hey, this lineup isn't working. Let's kind of make some slight adjustments. Now coaching really is involved through this series, so we're gonna see what JJ really can do. Also with Doc Rivers, I mean, come on, man. I mean, losing to the Pacers is in my mind very shocking, even without Dame. They didn't have Dame when they won the championship a few years ago. I mean, I had other pieces, but again, losing to the Pacers is a little shocker to me. So we got to see those coaching adjustments that be made. But again, the series isn't over. That's only one game. You got to win 3 more. And that's the greatest thing about it. Seeing a team be down 3 games to 1 is immaculate because you get to see them come back and try to win. I think I did see the Cavs and the Warriors, the series again, when the Cavs were down 3-1, and LeBron him and Kyrie just wanted to storm to come back. So again, I mean, I think, like I said, the playoffs is very interesting, man. I love this part of the season, man, and I like to see these matchups, man, to see where it goes.
I think for me, it's funny you brought up Nas Reed because last night I was sitting there watching WrestleMania, man. It's a couple fans like in the front, they had like a big old banner that says Nas Reed in the front. I said, damn, y'all some Nas Reed lovers, everything like that. That's the poetic. I had WrestleMania going right here. I had the Laker game on there. I said, damn, Nas Reed's killing them, and he got damn fans in the crowd in Las Vegas. But anyways, I think for me, real quick, I think, the vibe for this playoffs, you had OKC as the top seed, but you feel like everybody's still kind of doubting them because they're still young.
Right.
And, you still got Boston, who's the defending champs, and the way they play and whatnot. I think one thing kind of hindered them repeating, like, can everybody stay healthy throughout the run, especially Porzingis. That's the main one. But, you mentioned Detroit being back in the playoffs. The job J.G. Bickerstaff has done, flipping this team that was kind of like one of the worst in the league last year to a playoff team is remarkable. And that team, you got like a mix of young dudes, some vets, like Tobias Harris, Dennis Schroeder, Malik Beasley. And then you got some little bit crazy in there, right there with the Pistons as well. So like a good combination of everybody that, Detroit's kind of back, got that symbol in them and whatnot. And then, I kind of want to talk about this right here, like the play-in, the Heat. They're in the 8th seed again. No surprise there, and I think they kind of relish it. But the Heat, they played very well in the play-in games. Tyler Hero played well, especially in that run. They beat the Bulls. Our own Adam Carnigan is on his network. Does a show every Monday on 7 o'clock. I'm pretty sure you talk about this, but the Bulls, I thought the Bulls. I'll be honest with you, D-Lock. I thought the way Josh Giddey, Kobe White have been playing, I thought the Bulls would at least win that play-in game and make a run. I thought so. just the way they've been playing. But of course they didn't. The Orlando Magic, they handled business against the Hawks. The Grizzlies, they were getting beat down by the Warriors until they made a little comeback. And I think, I'm not saying they would, but if Ja didn't come back to that game with that hurt ankle, I think they would have got the Warriors, maybe, just maybe. And, Dallas, they handled their business against Sacramento. And like somebody pointed out on Twitter, man, about Sacramento going out. DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, instead of losing at 7:05, they go around to the West Coast, lose at 10:35. And the Kings are in a mess right now. Like, where did they go from here? Like Sabonis, could they offer him for a trade? Sabonis also said they need a point guard. Well, coincidentally, De'Aaron Fox is traded. Do they keep Doug Christie around?
Right.
That's another question. The Grizzlies, yeah, they in the playoff and stuff like that, but who's the intern coach? Let me pull that. Tomas is Lasalo. Do they keep him around as an intern coach, as a head coach for the Grizzlies? I think not. After the shift of the blowout today. So for the playing games, I thought it was pretty solid. The Mavs getting blown out by the Grizzlies and Anthony Davis. I don't know if you watched this game or not. I didn't know he had 40 points until he went out with the injury. That's how bad they were getting beat. Like, damn, he got 40 points. And I'm just saying, like, damn, he has 40 points, but it had no impact in the game. And Dallas, I think, next year around, I think they should be better. Everybody healthy. We'll see what happen with Kyrie. But that team right there, I don't know. I know Nico Harrison is saving face right now with this team, but the way things are going, and then reports talking about Derek Lively, how some of the trainers are handle that foot injury and stuff like that, has not been well received in that organization. So these playing teams, some of them, especially the lower ones, got a lot of questions going into the offseason. And I don't know where some of these teams will go from there. They got some got upside, some don't. Some got a lot of questions and whatnot. So I don't know. Is my question there. But back to the main stage real quick. We got the who's playing right now? Excuse me real quick. Yeah, we got the Heat and Cavs right now. The Heat down by 9. Tyler Hero having another strong game right now. D-Lock, 19 points for him. 13 points for Adebayo. Only 3 rebounds. That guy gets stronger. But Donovan Mitchell, 18 points. Garland, 17 points. Kindly in the charge for the Cavs. 10 rebounds for Jared Allen, 8 points for him so far. And I'm looking right now, the balance. Like you mentioned earlier about the balance. Like the Cavs are another team that's been showing their balance all year long.
Right.
They had one of the better strong benches out there as well. Like them, OKC, Boston to a degree. I think they can build that bench a little bit stronger. Indiana, I know you're not strong on them. It's this. I think they got a strong bench. I just think Rick Carlisle don't use them enough. They got some talented guys, but I just thinking like, damn, this guy, if you get this guy a little bit more time, more consistency, I think you get more things out of this said player. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like the Pacers. Let me ask you this question about this series. Game may come back game 2 or game 3. He's kind of coming back from the blood clots in his calf. The Bucks lost game 1 in that series. Kuzma had a goose egg in that matchup as well. Can Dame save the day on game 2 or game 3? What are your thoughts on Dame and his timing to come back for this team?
I mean, I think, like I said before, I think it determines on what happens this next game. I think if Milwaukee go down another game, now they're looking at hey, well, can we move him up to be ready earlier than planned? And I know I said earlier I can't be lost to the Pacers, but the Pacers got a pretty decent squad. I mean, they're not no slouch now. I mean, I know we always talk about how good the West is, and who they have, the depth of the West as far as teams. But the Pacers ain't no slouch, man. I mean, like I said, they anytime Halliburton is out, TJ McConnell can go out there and get you by 8 steals, get you 10 assists and 10 points. So he's notorious for doing things like that. But I think that right now, if the Pacers do push it to where Milwaukee is down 0-2, we could see Dame suiting up earlier than planned. And another reason why that's possible is because of the depth that the Pacers have at the guard position. We talk so much about what Tyrese Halliburton can do, obviously, but T.J. McCollum, Andre Nembhard, Benedict Mathurin can come in and go cook when he wants to. And Ben Shepherd can go out there and get some time if needed. So, yes, the pressure is for Dame to Giannis to do what he do, but the guards got to be able to play, man. I mean, that's just what the name of the game is. And also, Kyle Kuzma cannot have the game that he had, the first game of this series. So, I don't think that they rushed Dame back just yet. I'm pretty sure they're thinking in their mind that they're possibly gonna need him. But again, I really think that if they do go down 0-2, then it's a huge damn, okay, Dame, we might need you. You know what I'm saying? Because they traded for him for this specific situation. You know what I mean? They made the playoffs. They've won the championship before, moved the pieces that they moved, and now they got 2 superstars on one team. And this is what they built it for. So now, like I said, I think hopefully not rushing it back doesn't impact them playing other teams. Because again, I think the Knicks are going to be a tough team. I think Boston is going to be a tough team. So to put all your eggs in one basket, Easter Sunday, I think they do that for the Pacers. It may hurt them in the long run, but you may have to do that if you're down 0-2. You put yourself in a situation where it's damn, we don't have a win, right? And if that happens, now you're looking at, all right, well, Dame, bruh, we're gonna need you to, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to go ahead and get you right, because at this point, we cannot risk being down 0-3, because again, these other guards got to do what they supposed to. Gary Trent, they got to go out here and cook and do what they do. But if they can't, now you need you to start to come back earlier than planned.
I agree with you. I'm looking at the stat line from the other day. Torian Prince, he had no points as well in that match. And that's another role player that I'm not saying you need 20 points, but a good healthy 9 points here and there will go a long way, in this series. And yes, I know they got blown out, but you kind of get my point. Kevin Porter, 12 points for him off the bench, 14 off the bench for Gary Trent Jr. Green had 15 off the bench. A lot of these points are kind of like a garbage time, because some of these starters didn't play big minutes except for Giannis, and he had 36 and 12. So I don't know. To me, do they kind of rush him back? I think they do, because you don't want to get in a hole and kind of go 7 games deep with this team. And I think should they be, playing the blood cards, me personally, I don't think he should. I think he should shut out the playoffs, come back healthy for the next season and go from there. Because something happened to him and whatnot, I don't think it would be a great look for the league. We saw this years ago with Chris Bosh and his blood clot issue, and they told him no way at all. And I think he went to get multiple different opinions from different doctors, and he never got approved, and next thing you know, he retired. But if he's good to go, I think, he'll play next game. Him and Halliburton with chirping back and forth, all that stuff. If you could use that motivation, come in game 2 and kind of put the hammer on the paces, that'd be great. Make Halliburton work, make Neighbor work, and then get Giannis some relief. But like you said, Kuzma gotta be alive. He can't be just getting cardio in. And like what Indie Sports Nation said, Middleton was a key piece for the Bucks, in my opinion. He gave the Pacers fits. Yeah. And I said this on Twitter as well. Like, I understand the Bucks selling high on Kuzma. I mean, not Kuzma, Middleton. I get that. But you got to make sure the guy you getting, Kuzma, can be that replacement.
Right.
Because like what Indie Sports Nation said, hey, Middleton was like a late game scorer, gave them fits. So you kind of took that element away and brought in Kyle Kuzma that really, he's a guy that never really showed that in his career. So I look back in this series, I did say the Bucks are going to win, but we'll see how game 2 shakes out, and we'll go from there. I did say the Bucks in 6. We'll see if that still holds or not. In my opinion, I'll let you have last word.
I mean, I think, like I said, I think the Bucks and the Pacers is a good series that could go possibly 6, possibly 7. But if it does get that far, I mean, you're probably looking at seeing Dame a lot in this series. Like you said, rushing him back is not the smart thing to do. But I think with what's at stake, we're already hearing rumbling about Giannis wanting to go somewhere and X, Y, and Z. Like, now you really have to think, okay, well, damn, like, could we risk getting put out the first round? You know what I mean? Because you made these pieces. Bobby Portis is going to be there, Brook Lopez, these other guys. But, now you're hearing these rumblings. I mean, we've hearing about these different pieces being moved around. Obviously, we see Luka getting traded to the Lakers, which was unexpected. They're trying to keep Giannis. And one thing that he wants to do is win. I don't think losing the first round helps that.
So I think this is a series to monitor and whatnot, all the good stuff. And I think one of these, one of these days, especially a player to monitor that, hopefully you don't rush back just because. So we'll see. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our first break. On the other side of things, we'll talk about Nuggets, Clippers, and the Lakers. Do they have a big problem going in the series against the Timberwolves? We'll discuss that much more. And also, towards the end of the show, our disappointments in the NBA season. We will talk about that. But this is Fastback here, live on Sports Radio. You're the Reek for Always Sports, and we'll catch you on the other side.
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernick.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the 08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies.
And your one-timers.
You wicked wristas.
And be sure to protect your 5-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you at the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
And welcome back here to Fast Pick here live for IE Sports Radio. Your to follow is sports. D-Locke, before we left the air, we gave the people a little taste, a little quick. And one thing I think game series is going to go to 7, in my opinion. And I want to get your thoughts on this. The Nuggets Clippers. The Nuggets win by 2 points in overtime, 112 to 110. Last week when I discussed this, and I gave my predictions, I said this is like one of those series that can go to 7. Only reason I say that, D-Locke, reason I say I go to 7 because Kawhi Leonard's back in the city. Now, if he's not healthy, if he's not fully healthy or get hurt, then scratch my opinion going 7. But how do you see this series going between the Nuggets and the Clippers?
Looking at the numbers, Jokic was Jokic. I think the biggest thing that played a part with this that kept the Clippers with the Nuggets is Zubac. 13 rebounds and 21 points. That's a hell of a game for him. Like you said, I think Kawhi Leonard being back, this dude put up 41 minutes. When was the last time we seen Kawhi Leonard put up 40 plus minutes? You know what I mean? So the fact that he put those numbers up, now your bench can actually help to stop and not have to rely so much on the James Hardens. I think we didn't see too much from Ben Simmons, which we probably won't see too much, maybe a little bit more later on in the series. But Batum's going to play that part on the defensive side. I think also knowing what James Harden brings, I think the series can go pretty far. I think that the thing is the Nuggets got a matchup, man. Michael Porter didn't have that game. He didn't do too much, relying more so on Jamal Murray and Jokic as they always have. And then Aaron Gordon had the game that he usually has. I think you're going to have to get more from that bench a little bit for the Nuggets. They got Sark over there. You probably need to actually have him in the game a little bit more and see what he possesses and what he can bring. Russ came off the bench and had a pretty decent game as we expect. But this series, man, is a very good matchup, to be honest, man. I think either one of these teams can actually be in the Western Conference Finals without question. To be honest with you, man, I think if I had to pick, this is a tough one, man. I think the series goes to 7.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get around it. But the thing is, I'm looking at it, man, and I mean, both of these teams got the depth, man. I think Kawhi is the missing piece for the Clippers. You know, you get him in, and he cooks him, and Norman Powell's going to have his game. So this game is definitely going to get the 7. But don't ask me who's going to win, because that's one part that's very hard to pick right now.
I think you touched on a couple things for me, and you brought up Michael Porter had played 26 minutes, only had 3 points. And now this is a Michael Porter Jr. at home, and he plays pretty well at home for the most part for his NBA career. So that's got to be better. The bench, you know, Coach Allen's shortened the bench. You know, they play like Watson, Westbrook, and Pickett. Like you mentioned about Dario Saric, I think maybe get him out there and see what he can bring to the table. You know, won't hurt. You know, if he's cooked, if you just got him on the roster, then, you know, so be it. But, you know, throw him out there, see what we can give you in that stretch position like you got Michael Porter Jr. and see where you go from there. For me, you know, last week I said, I think the series can go 7. It all depends on Kawhi Leonard. I know James Harden can get you a series, but I think Kawhi Leonard, if you were talking about like takeover and stuff like that, I think he's above Harden here. I just think he got more of that takeover ability than James Harden and can carry a team like that. And we've seen before towards championships, plural. Now, Zubac had a strong game, 21 and 13. That still got to continue. I think one thing they got to do defensively for the Clippers. A lot of times I was watching that game, D-Locke. A lot of times Joker's got switches on the guards and whatnot. Like you look, like he's in the paint and he got like Chris Dunn guarding him in the paint, and nobody's coming to double team and stuff like that. I understand trying to watch his double team passing and stuff like that, but you can't have your 6'3", 6'4" guard guarding a 7'1" man like that,
right?
As he is down low. You know what I'm saying? You can't continue to allow that, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, I thought Batum had a strong game, you know, especially in the second half. He started strong game for him. Bogdanović, he's got to play better. And Ben Simmons, man.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to talk about in years from now, like, one of generational waste of talent, not just in basketball, but in sports in general, in Ben Simmons. Like, damn. At one point, man, he looked like one of the next things in the NBA. And I know injuries played a part to a degree. But still, I think there's a lot of things going on that just hinder the process and whatnot. But I think for me, for the Clippers to win game 2, like I said, you got to slow down Jokic a little bit better, play him tougher. You know, if you maybe play Batum more, have him guarding Jokic and whatnot, and then hope, you know, guys like Eric Gordon and Jamal Murray don't get 20 plus on you. I think you can slow those guys down a little bit. Joker's going to get his. That's who he is. But you kind of looking at the other guys like Gordon and Murray. And even Russ. Russ had 15 points off the bench. Great, he shot 5 for 17. But if you cut half of that off, you know, I think you're looking a little bit better, in my humble opinion. So I think, like I say, this series can go to 7. You know, I think Kawhi Leonard got at least have a 30-point game in this series to kind of, you know, say I'm here or whatnot, in my opinion. But I'll let y'all that's word.
I think, like I said, it's going to be Kawhi. I mean, like I said, if he can continue to stay healthy, I think the Clippers and the Nuggets, this is going to be a very physical and long series. these two teams have that depth that I talk about Minnesota Timberwolves have, right? It's there. Just a few injuries here or there can mess up that rotation in these teams. So this matchup is perfect. I mean, they both got the same exact record, also. So I think that you're looking at a team that can have a score and can play small ball with the Clippers. They definitely can do that.
Yeah,
but I think that's the biggest thing, that their strength. You know what I mean? I don't really see too much weakness in the Clippers. The biggest weakness is injuries, the injury history. So also now you just got how you throw bodies at the Joker, and I think that's the biggest thing. Now, again, with this matchup, I think this is the most intriguing matchup. This can look like a Western Conference final matchup, how good these teams are. But that's what makes the West so good. It's been like this for years and decades. We've seen numerous teams from 1 to 8. On the west side, that is really good. So for me, listen, I'm still sticking to the fact that it's going to be going to a 7-game series. Just the question is who wins. And this is the one I'm out of all the series. I'll definitely watch a lot of them, but this is the one I'll definitely be tuned into to see who takes it, and also to see if Kawhi can stay healthy.
Let me ask you this before we talk about the Lakers and real quick. Do you think the coach firing and Mike Malone and then firing Calvin Booth, will that affect anything in this series for the Nuggets? I know I think it's Josh Kroenke, the son. He just after he fired both of those guys, said, just go ahead and play, guys, blah, 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 blah. Do you think that's going to affect anything with these guys or no?
I probably would say, yeah. At some point, I mean, I think coaching, as I talked about, I think coaching matters about in the series. I talked about, just piggybacking off to the Lakers and Timberwolves of after game 1, the Lakers and Timberwolves will make their adjustments. And I think with Clippers and Nuggets, you see the same thing, but how do we see Mike Malone not being there? Do we see that be exposed at some point? Not the fact that it's terrible coaching now. It's just the adjustment of having a new coach. And that's my biggest thing, is having somebody else there. You got to make your slight adjustments how it needs to go. And the farther that the series goes, the more adjustments I believe that needs to be made. So if it gets to game 7, I think we do see those adjustments. And on top of that, the fact that you said that, maybe that is the decision maker in who wins the series, right? Because they're used to Mike Malone for the longest. And now that he's gone, they got to make different adjustments. So for me, I think we do see a slight difference, but I think for the better. Because at the end of the day, they do have Joker. You know what I mean? And we know what he can possess and what he does. So we'll see other guys kind of get involved. That's why I said Sark may have to get in a little bit in this series because of the depth that the Clippers bring. So it just depends. But I think the adjustments will be made. And this series is going to be a hell of a series, man. I think, like I said, going to game 7, this is going to be one of the series we talk about throughout the playoffs. And I wouldn't be surprised if either one of these teams are one of the teams that get to the Western Conference Finals.
I think if I had potential for game 2, let's see. Game 2 is going to be on Monday at 9 p.m. So, 9 p.m. my time, 10 p.m. 10 at your time. Ooh, that's late. But anyways.
Yeah.
But I go with the Clippers in game 2. I think Kawhi Leonard has a 30-point game, and I think they'll tie it up and go and head out to LA, and we'll see what happens from there. We need to talk about this one right here. The Lakers caught a beat down yesterday, D-Locke. I got home from work. I had my setups going. WrestleMania going, the Laker game, and then I was like, okay, the Lakers playing good. And then next thing you know, I look up, Jay McDaniels is having a hell of a game. Nas Reed, like I touched upon early on this broadcast, the spirits must got him good because he shot 6 for 9 for 3-point land. Anthony Edwards, he had a solid game until he went back to the locker room as well. And Dante DiVincenzo had 9 points. Gobert only had two points, but only played 24 minutes. But you saw the effect he had and whatnot. D-Locke. With the size of the Wolves and whatnot and the versatility, are the Lakers in trouble?
I'm a diehard LeBron fan. I'll say that first. I think seeing greatness is a good thing. I said that with Usain Bolt, Michael Jordan, others. Love to see greatness continue. But I'll say this. Number one, I don't think they're in a lot of trouble because they have LeBron James. I think his guidance, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll get things going. But I also will play on the other end of it and say they are kind of in trouble. The reason why I say it is because, like you said, the size that they have and the depth that the Timberwolves have. The depth is what is going to keep the Timberwolves in a hell of a position. Because this is not a team that is relying on Anthony Edwards to score 40 a game. He can, but they're not relying on that.
No.
And the reason, okay, if you put Hachimura on Anthony Edwards, okay, cool. They got Dentarius who can come in here and get buckets. They got Alexander who can come in and get buckets. They got these guys that can come in and do some good work. And like I said, I think that is a huge thing alone. But what plays another part is the fact that like you said, the size matters. I mean, right now, Nas Reed, Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, that is a lot at the bottom. And with Jackson Hayes, who can be a hell of a player, unless we about to see Alex Len get some minutes, Jared Vanderbilt is probably, he can do something, but I don't see that size comparison down there. So for me, if I'm the Timberwolves, I'm knowing that they're probably going to focus on, the Lakers are going to focus on slowing down Ant-Man, you're looking at possibly your bigs having a hell of a series. Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, who got to get his boards and block, obviously being a defensive player of the year in the past. Jade McDaniels, who can go out there and do something. But then Nas Reed. So I don't want to say that they're in complete trouble because when you pair, first of all, LeBron on any team I don't think is in trouble. Unless you're playing against the Spurs with Tim Duncan and that team that they had. But LeBron is going to be LeBron. He's going to get the ship right. And then you pair him with a future Hall of Famer and Luka. And I think with those two guys, I think they will get the ship right. But this is a team. This is going to test the resiliency of this Lakers team. I'll be very bold right now, and I'll say if this Lakers team finds a way, well, I'm not going to say finds a way like it's over, but if they beat the Timberwolves, this team is going to the NBA Finals. And the reason why I say that is because this Timberwolves team is not a slouch, right? I mean, we're talking about what Ant-Man brings to the table, and it's not just him. You know what I mean? If it was just in the past where, let's compare the Utah Jazz back in 96 and 97 or 97, 98, or when they had Carmelo and John Stockton, right? They had a few other pieces, but the depth was different. We look at the Phoenix Suns. They had a few pieces, but it was Charles Barkley, mainly. So I say that to say that these teams that have that one player, they make that move to the NBA playoffs and they make the NBA Finals. This Timberwolves team has Anthony Edwards, but they have some decent pieces around them. This is a very good built roster. In my mind, I mean, if I really had to think about what they're drafting, they may draft another point guard. They're good down low. They may draft another guard just because Mike Conley is a little up there. You know what I mean? So you grab, but even still, you got Terrence Shannon who's going to be a hell of a basketball player. So this roster is not a bad roster. So again, I was shocked because of the blowout, because it's a team that LeBron plays on. But again, this team that we're looking at, Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, and Naz Reid, Naz Reid could be up for 6 Man of the Year, really. How he's played in the past, he really could be up there for 6 Man of the Year. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, we know what he possesses. And Dante Davidson, they got the rotation, man. So I don't think it's over just because I would never count out the king himself with now you add Luka. But they find a way to get past this team. Lakers go to the NBA Finals.
My thoughts on game one real quick. Jeremy Rodriguez brought a good point. The T-Wolves, if they have another hot shooting night like they did game one, then the Lakers may be in trouble. Maybe. Mm-hmm. But Julius Randle was 4 for 6 from three-point land. Naz Reid, like I mentioned, 6 for 9. Jaden McDaniels 3 for 3 for three-point land. Anthony Edwards 4 for 9. Mike Conley 2 for 3 for three-point land. 21-42 for three-point land for this team altogether. Now, we've seen with Julius Randle over this past season that his play has been erratic, to say the least. Can he come out and play strong next game? Hey, possibly. Hey, he could. But I was thinking, with Reed, Gobert didn't have a real strong game as well. I mean, his presence is there, but he didn't have a strong game. He only played like 24 minutes. Mike Conley only played like 22 minutes. So if you're the Lakers, Luka had 37 points, 8 rebounds in that matchup. LeBron had 19. So I think, next game, LeBron's going to wake up a little bit. I think for the Lakers, who besides LeBron and Luka you going to get strong games out of? Mm-hmm. When Jared Vanderbilt got in the game and whatnot, he brought a little bit of fire within that team. Get into Edwards' face, kind of get in guys' face and stuff like that. Kind of bring some fire with that team that kind of needed it when they get an ass whip in that second half. So JJ, still a first-year coach, trying to figure things out. You're going to have to play Vanderbilt by 20 minutes, see what you get out of them. Jackson Hayes playing 8 minutes. You got to probably pep him up and say, hey, man, I need you, man. I need you. Mm-hmm. You got to give us good, strong minutes. If not, I can't play you in the series. But I need you, though, because you're my only 7-footer that's kind of like worth the damn. And then also maybe, hey, throw Minnesota curveball. I know you played Dalton Connect much at the end of the season. Don't connect out there, see what we can give you and whatnot. So if you're the Lakers, kind of throw different things out there. Play Vanderbilt, connect more, see what you get. See that thing, throw things off, do something defensively, get Julius Randle off his game and whatnot. Kind of slow down his, I don't say hot shooting, but if you can't let Julius Randle, shoot like that and beat y'all like that. I'm sorry.
Nah, he definitely can't.
If he, driving in the lane, posting up, stuff like that, okay, different story. But if he's shooting 4 for 6 from three-point land and beating y'all, I mean, that's not a great look. And Terry Rodriguez brought up people down the Lakers after Portland took game 1 in the 2020 playoffs, like you mentioned. And the Lakers drew them and swept them. Everyone needs to slow their roll when it comes to game 1. True. That is true. But our own, I got it pulled up here. By our very own the Border North Breakdown. He talked this up in Twitter. And not surprised, the Wolves finished the regular season 7-14 and are a strong team, between 1 and 8 seeds. The Lakers are 2 superstars, but outside of Reeves, not much beyond that. That's very true. Besides Austin Reeves, who else going to step up to the plate? Rui got to step up. Like I mentioned, Gabe Vincent. Finney Smith, I think the role he's in, I think, if he gives you great scoring, good, but I think, he's there for the defensive defensive effort there. But for me, when the Lakers play again, which I think is on Tuesday.
Double check. Might be. I was just looking at the schedule a minute ago.
So yeah, when they play Tuesday, and it's a triple header that Tuesday. When they play Tuesday, I think they'll come out on serious. I think LeBron got to get going early. I know he's been letting Luka get his shot on, but I think sometimes if you're LeBron, I think you got to get rolling yourself.
Yeah.
So if LeBron gets rolling, early on in that game, which I think you're gonna probably see a hint of that, then I think it'll go a long way for the Lakers and whatnot. But I think the Lakers come back strong in game 2, like Terrence said. The Wolves ain't gonna shoot that hot again. If they are, then Lakers in trouble. I'll let you have last word.
I think again, shooting that good is very rare. But I think the biggest LeBron has to get hot. I agree with that. I think he has to wake up. And LeBron's gonna be LeBron. Like he's gonna be him. But I think the thing that worries me about this team is about the Timberwolves is they have depth. Like I said, I continue to say it is. We have always talked about so much of what Anthony Edwards has done. I think he's probably up for clutch performer. I think he's up for clutch performer of the year. And he's been outstanding. And he's bringing the Timberwolves pretty far. But it's not just him. And I think that's one thing that we talk about shooting. Not only the Lakers got to make the changes, and LeBron got to get his shots up, but they got to play better defense.
Yes.
I mean, right now, you can't keep everything in on Anthony Edwards. As much as you would like, these other guys can get hot. I mean, we talk about Mike Conley. There's games where Mike Conley catches fire. It's very rare, but we're talking about a 7-game series now. So all you need is a game from him. You know what I mean? So for me, the rotation scares me. And I think because, again, you take Ant-Man out, you bring in Alexander Walker and Demon Chizo. Now what do they do? Take Gobert out. You play Julius Randle at the 5. You move Jaden Daniels down to the 4. Now what do you do? Because the key person that you kind of geared around is not there. So you still got to play good defense either way. Is what I'm trying to say. You gotta play hella defense. So I think this team has to play better defense because ain't no way in hell. I think Naz Reid had like 17 points in the first half. Like, come on, dude. Like, LeBron can go out there and have 12 and a half, but if you get that Naz Reid had 17 in the first half,
yeah,
your game is screwed now. You know what I mean? So I think LeBron and Luka wake up. I think we see a duo that looks really good. But again, the defensive side is what needs to kick in because, like I said, I think this team is very much talented. I think they have some pretty solid pieces, and that rotation looks very scary. Right now, I probably would pick their rotation over the Nuggets. I probably would pick their rotation over. May not pick it over the Clippers just yet, but they got some pieces over there, man. So LeBron needs to wake up. Luka needs to play and better defense, big time overall.
So we'll see what happens on game 2 on Tuesday night. So be aware that game 2 is on Tuesday night for Minnesota and the Lakers. But D-Locke, take our last break real quick. On the other side of things, our disappointments of the year, of the NBA season.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a lot of them. But our disappointments of the NBA season. So, if you're in the chat, just think about your disappointments of the year and put them down. But this is Fast Break here live for iSports Sports Radio. You're the Reform Sports, and we'll catch you on the other side.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
How we doing, sports fans? This is Christian Harvey, your host of Gritsville, USA, your go-to show for all things Detroit and Michigan here on IE Sports Radio. Whether you're here for Gritty Lions talk, getting pumped up for the great Detroit sports renaissance, or hating on your neighbor depending on if they were green or blue, we got you covered. Whether you're in the East, West, or Central, we got you covered. Join me as we tackle through all that the great state of Michigan has to offer in the world of sports. Catch me, Christian Harvey, each week on Gritsville, USA, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back here to Fast Break here live for IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all sports. It's kind of fitting when we pay those couple drops, D-Locke.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get to my disappointments with one of the drops. Let's whine about the DMV. I'll get that more in a second. But I'll let you go first. Your disappointments of the NBA season in your eyes. Could be team related, play related, league related. I'll let you go off.
Well, I have not a huge list, but I'm going to say this team first. The Philadelphia 76ers. Let me just get that out there. I'm probably one of the few fans and people that watched NBA that really wasn't a fan of Ben Simmons being moved on from Philly because of the whole series thing a while back. It has been known that he was a huge blame for that. You know, we've seen the whole thing with it. He was blamed for it. Fast forward to him coming to practice with a cell phone in his pocket. Just all kind of stuff going on. So we move on from him. He gets moved. They go get James Harden. James Harden gets there. That doesn't work out. Now they need Tyrese Maxey in big guard. They will get Tyrese Maxey, and they just have Tyrese and Embiid. That doesn't work out. Now, fast forward to us seeing Embiid doing an interview. He's talking about, Philly needs to add another player. He's winking to the side to Paul George, X, Y, and Z, all that kind of crap. And they go get Paul George. Now you have another big three, as they say. Tyrese Maxey. I believe Eric Gordon also.
I forgot about him.
Yes, Eric Gordon. I can't think of his name right now. Kelly Oubre. So they got all these pieces. And this team has all these different type of injuries. And they can never get moving forward. Big play with Embiid goes to Olympics, gets a gold medal, and it seems like he's starting to feel himself a little bit. I don't know what kind of conversation they had in the Olympics, but he came back talking about he wasn't playing back-to-backs and all this other kind of crazy stuff. Like, literally missing games. Maybe he was hurt a lot of it, legit, but missing a lot of games. And they're slowly just falling behind these. Just slowly falling behind. Well, they're going to get it right. They're going to get more time. That's okay. When Embiid gets back, they're going to get back. It's the East. The East is not that bad, such and such. They're going to find a way to get back in the mix. And they never do. So for me, that is one of the biggest disappointments ever is this season with the Philadelphia 76ers. The question is, what do they do now? Because now we get all this talking about putting these pieces around Embiid. This may be, a lot of people may disagree, but I think Embiid is probably a big problem with this team. For years, we talked about Ben Simmons. They said it was James Harden. They said all these pieces. Embiid is still the main piece here. I think he has a huge issue. Something between him and Philly. I don't know what it is. Something is not going right. Whether it's health issue, health related, motivation related. Maybe it's just being in Philly, being comfortable. But something is not clicking with Philly and Embiid. Because the main piece that everybody was telling me years ago, Ben Simmons, he's gone. He's been gone. Now, he's not doing anything on his end now. We ain't talking about him. He ain't doing everything he need to. But we're talking about Philly has moved on now. And nothing has happened in a positive for them.
No.
So, and I, at some point, said, well, hell, Doc Rivers got something to do with it. And we see what the hell going on in Milwaukee. So maybe Doc Rivers has a huge piece. He's gone too. So, again, Philly has been a huge disappointment. Something is not clicking with them. They got to figure it out what it is. Do they move Embiid? Possibly. They have to figure this out. This is something that you've been moving players around, getting different players in, and you're still having the same issue. Ever since that series lost to Toronto, where Kawhi Leonard hit that bucket shot, they have not been able to get anything correct. So Philly has to get something right because now Paul George is out, Tyrese Maxey, who's been a stud, but Embiid has just been up and down. They have to figure that out. So much I can say about them, but again, that can take days. Another team.
Yes, you did about the Sixers. And you mentioned some of the guys, over the years. One person, do you think if Jimmy Butler would stay around for a little bit, what would happen with that franchise in your eyes? Because they chose Tobias Harris over Jimmy and stuff like that. If they kept Jimmy around, what do you think would happen with this team?
I think what happens with this team is Embiid is not there. And the reason why I say it is I think Jimmy Butler requires a amount of he wants to win. We see not a huge dramatic difference in Jimmy Butler from now to the early Jimmy Butler in Miami, but you see where we see the Golden State Jimmy Butler looks different than the Miami Jimmy Butler we've seen earlier in the season. Jimmy Butler is one of those guys that desires to win. And a lot of bull crap that Embiid has going on, different things, I don't think that flies with Jimmy. So I think at the end of the day, they will have to choose whether they wanted Jimmy or Embiid. I think that this franchise does move forward. I think they do move pieces around. I think we're looking at a different culture changer. That is what Jimmy is. He's that culture changer. Now, he fit in Miami because Miami already had the culture. They just need the player, right? So I think we may look at a possibly a different type of Philly team moving forward. Now, what we see from Jimmy is once he see a team is not trying to win, he's out. He's deuces. He's gone. So, and that's what happened in Philly is they weren't on the same type of page he was on. Same thing in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So again, I think if you do keep Jimmy, if you do keep him, I think you're looking at a different franchise, and that's what I mean by those specific players. Like I know this is the NBA, I know the NFL draft is coming up. I am one of those fans that believe that if you see a player that is literally going to change, that can possibly change your franchise, I don't care where you are in the draft, NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB, you go trade up to get said player.
Oh yeah.
There's a few players that you can see pre-draft that you like, okay, damn, this player right here, he's going to be that guy. Christian McCaffrey was one of those guys out of Stanford. You can just tell he's going to be that guy. Jalen Ramsey, you can see him. He's just that guy. There's LeBron James. You can see he's going to be that guy. So Jimmy Butler is one of those guys, and we see it. So if you keep, and circling back to that, the answer to that, if Philly has Jimmy Butler, I don't think you see too many moves in the pieces that they've made. I think you know what I'm saying? I think you keep that base. We might still see Ben Simmons there. Possibly not. Who knows? But with Jimmy Butler there, I think you're looking at a totally different franchise now. But now it's a shit show, man. I mean, they moved on from Ben Simmons, but they're still having the same issues. You can't blame Ben Simmons anymore.
No.
He's gone. So that's my biggest thing with that team, man. Other disappointing team, the Phoenix Suns.
Oh.
I think you were actually on it first. They talked about a trade. It went down. I just thought it was match made in heaven at this point. Hell, Kevin Durant had so many big three teams. He got hit on at least one of them.
Yeah.
I think you were saying, hey, watch out for the injuries, X, Y, and Z. And this team, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant. I think DeAndre Ayton was there at one point. Yusuf Nurkic, Ty Jones. A few good pieces there. Royce O'Neal, I believe. This team finished 36-46, 10 games under 500, and did not make the playoffs. Not even the play-in.
Nah.
With these guys, we're talking about some team. We're talking about some players that are pretty damn good. So, for me, I think that's literally up there with the Philly. They're damn near neck and neck. I'm not sure what it is, what they do. You have those three pieces. I mean, what's next? So, those are my, like I said, I didn't want to go too much into a lot of my disappointments. Those are my top two. There was another I could go into New Orleans Pelicans, but this is every year with them at this point, man. They're disappointing every year. So for me, Phoenix and Philly, again, both disappointing that I can really just be like, what the hell is going on?
Real quick for me, my disappointments of the season. You touched on Philly. When Paul George signed, and we talked about this, it's like he didn't want to sign there. He still want to stay in LA. But I think the Clippers didn't want to give him money that he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And, for the Clippers, they made the playoffs, as we see. But I wonder if, things would be a lot stronger for them if they would have kept Paul George around. Maybe not. If they were about playing the luxury tax apron, all that stuff, we're talking about Steve Ballmer, one of the richest men in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, the money he spent with his team, their arena out in Inglewood, looked great, amazing, stuff like that. But it's just like, I think Paul really didn't want to go there, but he went there because they paid him the most money. So Philly is the biggest disappointment. We talked about this over the summer as well. You know, with Embiid. You know, if you need surgery, get the surgery done. Don't worry about the Olympics.
Right.
Same thing with Kawhi Leonard. And smaller Kawhi Leonard, you know, we saw the video with him in the suitcase walking in, limping. Next thing you know, he bowed out. Embiid should have took that same route. And now you fast forward to the start of the season, like you mentioned, I ain't gonna play back to backs, blah 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 blah, and all that good stuff. You know, it sucked. And another thing, you know, Jerry McCain going out.
Oh yeah,
ACL injury. You know, I think if he would stay healthy for the rest of the year, I think he would probably been rookie of the year. The way he was playing, I think he would be rookie of the year. And I'm gonna say this to the riders out there: if y'all happen to catch a glimpse of this show, whatever, who vote for the all rookie team and stuff, that please include that kid at least second team in the all rookie team, because I think he was on that trajectory, and I hope he gets at least a nod to second team. I hope he does. But anyways, I think Daryl Morey has to go. I think it's just past time for him to go. You know, you mentioned about the James Harden situation there and that divorce. James Harden's over there in China calling him a liar and all that stuff. It's just like everything after a while, and this has been under having Daryl Morey's watch, that, okay, dog, it was nice and stuff like that, but it's time to go.
Right.
I think Philly needs a fresh start. Only positive that Philly has got going for right now, Tyrese Maxey has kind of shown that he's here now. The All-Star nod, all that stuff. And then with Embiid, I don't know what you do with him.
Yeah.
I really don't know. Can you sell high to somebody? Possibly. To who? I don't know. That's another question. To who? You know, at one point, the Knicks were very interested, but they, you know, then nothing materialized there, and now they went and got Karl Anthony Towns, and they seem like they're very happy with that. So the Sixers for me were a big disappointment just because how the roster construction was and expectations and that. The Suns are another who's in the worst situation. And with the Suns, they had no draft assets. Bradley Beal is turned to a lemon. Bradley Beal reminds me like a Cadillac I bought years ago. I bought a Cadillac D-Locke years ago, good price at like $2,600 because I was needing a new car. My other car was in the shits. Bought it, things were going good, rolled good. Next thing you know, it started having engine issues. I took it back to the dude that owned it. Say, hey, man, I went to this one shop. They say I got to get a new engine. What? And then the dude told me like, well, you just need a water pump. So now I'm stuck at $2,500, and I got a car that's sitting in my parents' carport, and I sit making payments on it, but I'm not using it. That's Bradley Beal right there.
Yeah.
The Suns. I pay you all this money, and you sitting now.
No production.
No production at all. I can't drive you nowhere, no long distance, and fear the engine blowing up, and I'm stuck in the road somewhere. I can go short distance somewhere, but it's got to be quick and back. That's how Bradley Beal is. A used Cadillac. And used Cadillac that, that you can't get no damn trade off anyways. Until I got to the car, that's paid off now, my Kia. That's how Bradley Bailey is. Like my old Cadillac I had. So no draft assets. Bradley Beal's you got him in a tough contract you can't trade away. Now you're looking at move to Durant just because get him in a bad situation. Then the coaching situation. 3rd year in a row, you fire your coach. Devin Booker and Budenholzer seem like they had issues all year long. You got your owner that, a lot of people are saying that maybe in over his head. And Stephen A. Smith saying the owner is Phoenix Suns owner. I don't got his name in front of me right now, saying he's the worst owner in sports. That's kind of ludicrous to say. I'm sorry. If you still got Jerry Jones walking around, if you got Davis over in Las Vegas,
Sure.
You still got old boy in New York, the Knicks. What's his name? James Dolan still in charge. Jimmy Haslam in the Cleveland Browns. You still got those folks out there, and then come on now, we're doing too much. But the Suns has been a disappointment,
big time.
And then if I had thrown another disappointment in there, it's tough to say. Those two are the main big ones, but I think, I'm gonna say this. If the Wizards don't get the top number 1 pick as in the upcoming draft, and I know the Utah Jazz is finished below them, but the Wizards don't get that first overall pick, that'll be a big time disappointment right here.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, that'd be a big disappointment right there. All that losing for nothing. To watch Cooper Flag, if Utah get that first overall pick, to get him go to Utah.
Yeah.
Oh. You know what I'm saying? If you're a Wizards fan, you better pray to God you get that first overall pick and all that stuff. And also, the injuries to the young guys. I'll leave on this note. Victor Wembanyama going out for the rest of the year, injury.
Yeah.
Herb Jones, Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, Darren Fox went out of his injury and stuff like that. Even Luka. He was out for a good while before he got traded to the Lakers.
Yep, I remember that.
Chet Holmgren. He went out with injuries and stuff like that. So a lot of young guys, that we expect to take leaps and and stuff like that, be new faces of the league when guys like Steph Curry, LeBron, and KD walk out the door. The new breed in a sense. You hope to take that mantle, but these guys didn't really stay healthy to kind of show that part yet. So I'm kind of disappointed. I know injuries happen in sports, but I'm kind of disappointed in that like some of these guys couldn't stay healthy to kind of take that next leap. But those are my disappointments. You got any others to add?
I'm actually with you with the injuries. I think another disappointment is all the injuries that the Pelicans had. Just overall. I think that just was they got to figure it out as well. I think I put them in the same breath as the Wizards. But having the pieces that they had at this point, man, Zion's career is not looking too good. That's just what it is. Let's just call a spade a spade. It's not looking too good. They gotta get it in order. So that's about it, man. I think, like I said, those injuries, DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, like I said, Herb Jones, all these other guys, it really impacted this Pelicans team. But how many years are we going to continue saying that? So
let me ask you this before we get out the air. David Griffin got fired from the Pelicans GM job after 6 years.
Right.
Do whoever gets the GM job there, does they potentially look at trading Zion? I know they say they won't or whatever, It's like one report you hear say they won't do it. One report say they might look into it. In your opinion, whoever gets the new GM job, do they may look into trading Zion?
I think the only way that they can really consider trading Zion is if they have any chance of getting that first overall pick, which I think is slim to none. So if it's Utah or if it's Washington, Utah or Washington trade for Zion and give that first pick up to the Pelicans. I don't see that. Obviously, the new GM is going to want to put his group together. Zion is what, 22? Let's double check. I don't think he's that old. He might be 23 at max.
24.
Wow. Okay, 24. Oh yeah. Well, he better get going. I mean, he's not that old, but he got to get going. So, but I think with a few pieces that team, again, the team is going to come in and want to keep his job. You know what I mean? So if so, he's going to want to make the slight adjustments, which mean possibly moving on. But he may ask for a king's ransom for Zion. Now, we talked about it for a couple of years now. They probably should have traded Zion last year. And you probably would have gotten more, or the year before. But now, not saying it's far off, but I think what you get with him is not going to be as much as what you could have gotten for him last year. So, if anything, hell, they're probably going to try to pair him and Herb Jones. You're going to want Herb Jones. You know what I mean? He's been panning out pretty well. So, again, I think it's hard to see them move on from Zion. Maybe not this year. He may give it a year and see what happens. But I guess I can see them answering calls. They're looking to deal, but I don't think it'll be something that the new GM wants to do. But again, I mean, when you have a what we know Zion could be, you're gonna want to try to build around it. So possibly he tries to do that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try to pack him up because these past few years for Zion has been. At this point, man, I think I'll say right now it's probably time for him to go start somewhere new. He needs a fresh start somewhere at this point, man. It's just not working. I've tried to get around it multiple times with the weight and different things. It is not working. Regardless, it's not. It's not. So at this point, pack up the bags and try to figure out go somewhere else. Try to get a fresh start with this guy.
So yeah, we'll leave on that note. I think, for the NBA season, I think there's some positives. I mean, we kind of say team oriented, but the league in general, I think a lot of questions to be had. The All-Star game was a dud for the most part. So a lot of questions about that and all that good stuff. And a lot of questions like beyond, who's the next superstar to kind of break out and whatnot for the league and all that good stuff. So a lot of questions for the NBA moving forward. You got the new contracts coming in with Amazon, all that stuff to look forward to. So how's that going to shake out for the NBC as well? See how that shake out things, all that good stuff on there. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us. D-Locke, how can people find you on social media?
You can find me at Black Dash 813 on Instagram, D-Locke 813. Let me explain the show's page.
You see right there, you can find the show's page on X/Twitter at FastBreakISR. That's FastBreakISR. You can find me on Twitter as well. X, what you want to call it, 14288 right there. It's 14288 right there. Also, you follow iSports Radio on your social media feed: X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. We're all there. Please give us the network a follow. Do check our own personal page at iSportsRadio.com/fastbreak. Also, check us out on Spreaker as well. Do give us a follow on there. If you want to support us, $5 a month. Drop that bucket in, and we get some exclusive content out to y'all on there as well. Follow like that page and stuff like that. Playoff talk, all that good stuff going on there. come next week. More playoff talk, all that good stuff. Maybe sprinkle a little bit in WNBA as well. But we had a great show here tonight. Thank y'all for tuning in with us on here as well. But we'll check y'all next week. Playoffs is here, and the NBA season is winding down. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.